Goku vs Piccolo is one of the greatest fights in all of Dragon Ball. It served as the ultimate climax of the original Dragon Ball series before moving on to the Saiyan saga, and the fight had such a satisfying payoff at the end. This fight was built up very well since the King Piccolo saga all the way to the final match of the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, and this fight is a huge reason to why the 23rd Budokai Tenkaichi Arc is one of the greatest tournament arcs in anime and manga. And as epic as the fight is, there is also a lot of depth in this fight regarding the characters of Goku and Piccolo, making this fight the perfect finale of the World Tournament and even Goku's story from the original Dragon Ball. So this will be an analysis of Goku and Piccolo's rivalry, leading to why the fight is one of the greatest fights in Dragon Ball. So with Goku and Piccolo, the story was portraying them both as complete opposites, and because of their different upbringings on Earth, this influenced them both in opposite ways as a result. Humanity plays a very important role when it comes to impacting these two characters. Starting off with Goku, Goku was sent to Earth as a baby, and because he was a Saiyan child, he was very rebellious and violent and did not have a shred of kindness in his heart. But due to an accident, his head was damaged as a result, and he lost his memories and his innate nature of a Saiyan child. And because he was raised by his grandpa Gohan, Goku became more kind-hearted and had less of a temper. It was because of Gohan that Goku became pure of heart, which became Goku's main defining trait. He was one of the few characters on Earth that was still pure-hearted enough to ride on the Kintoon cloud. And all of this was because of Goku's upbringing with a peaceful man who raised him to become someone who is kind-hearted and someone who cares for others. And later on, Goku trains under Master Roshi, the Turtle Hermit, and he trains him under the fighting style of the Turtle Hermit. Under Roshi's tutelage, Goku learned humility and continuous self-improvement after realizing that no matter how strong you get, there is always someone stronger than you. And Goku learned his lesson when he lost against Jackie Chan in the tournament. And these are core lessons that Goku still sticks to, even in Dragon Ball Super, because he always tries to improve himself, and he was able to achieve immense strength through hard work because of this mindset. So even though Goku was originally from the Saiyan race, which is a warrior race known for their brute and violent nature, with nothing but combat and pride in their minds, because of the influence of humanity on Goku, Goku grew up to become the very opposite of what a typical full-blooded Saiyan would act. Had Goku not met Grandpa Gohan, Goku would have grown up to become even more violent and more hard-hearted, to the point where he most likely would have destroyed everyone on the planet. But he instead became the hero and the protector of Earth, and because of his kind and pure nature, he also drew many people to him because of that. After meeting Bulma, he meets all kinds of people on his journey, and almost all of his friends were either evil from the beginning, or they were his enemies when they first encountered Goku. But it was Goku's kind nature, and the fact that he constantly improves himself, that he was able to change them and help them to change into better people as a result. And all of this stems from the lessons and the love he received from his earthling mentors and father figures in his life. But how about Piccolo? How did humans influence the character of Piccolo? Now before getting into Piccolo, we first have to go to the Nameless Namekian. The Nameless Namekian was sent to Earth as a child, in order to avoid the natural disaster that was occurring on planet Namek. The Nameless Namekian wasn't raised by anyone unlike Goku. He was all alone for his entire childhood and even in his adolescence. He also had amnesia, which he suffered from at a young age, and because of this, he had no recollections of his origins, his home planet, or even his own name. The only thing he felt any attachment to was the spaceship that took him to Earth. That spaceship was the only thing he considered to be his home. He stayed at this home, waiting for someone to come looking for him, because that's what he wanted most. He had no memory of his actual father, and he wasn't raised by any Earthlings, so he longed for parental love, which is why he was waiting for someone to return to him. But even through all of that waiting, no one returned to him in the end. And because of this, with no sense of identity or any knowledge of where he came from, the Nameless Namekian left his house in hopes of exploring the world and discovering who he truly is. But as the Namekian was travelling around the world, meeting with Earthlings and having experiences with them, the pure heart of the Nameless Namekian was partially tainted. His pure heart was tainted by the evil and the hate that was present in the world. This is the complete opposite of how Goku experienced the world. Unlike the Nameless Namekian, Goku was raised by his grandpa Gohan as his father figure, and he made many friends along the way. Goku wasn't exposed to all of the evil and atrocities of the Earthlings like the Nameless Namekian was. He instead grew up with a peaceful and kind-hearted man who shaped Goku to be the very person he is today. And even though Goku had his encounters with many cruel-hearted people on his journey, his pure heart was never tainted, it was still intact. So after exploring the Earth, the Nameless Namekian instead aims to become the guardian of the Earth, to watch over the Earthlings and to become the new protector of the Earth. However, Because the nameless Namekian was partly tainted by the evil nature of humans, he was unable to become the guardian of Earth, unless he gets rid of the evil that was in his heart. And after relinquishing the evil in his heart, he was able to separate the good and evil within him. And this led to the birth of Kami, who was pure good, and King Piccolo, who was pure evil. King Piccolo terrorized the Earth and aimed to take over the world because of his cruel nature and the amount of power he possessed. He expanded his army by producing several offspring, and together they killed many people and brought hell on Earth. King Piccolo was the result of the evil nature of humanity that tainted the pure heart of the nameless Namekian. And this is not the only time in Dragon Ball where the evil nature of humanity was addressed. As I pointed out earlier, Goku was one of the few people on Earth that was pure of heart to be able to ride on the Kintoon cloud. But years ago, there were actually a lot more people who were able to ride on the cloud. But as time went on, the number of people with pure hearts decreased, which may have been due to their hearts becoming tainted, which is exactly what happened with the nameless Namekian. Even looking at Majin Buu's character, the reason why he split himself between his good side and the evil side, which ended up becoming Super Buu, it was due to his encounter with two humans who tried to kill Mr. Satan and the dog, who were his closest friends, and this led to the creation of the evil side of Buu. So the evil side of humanity seems to be a big theme in the overall story of Dragon Ball. After his defeat by Goku, King Piccolo attempted to reincarnate himself by spitting out an egg just before his death, in hopes that his child would inherit his goal of world domination. That child ended up becoming Piccolo Jr., who was just as evil as his father was. After Goku hears about Piccolo Jr., he agrees to train with Kami, the good side of the nameless Namekian, to finally take down Piccolo in the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai. So this fight between Goku and Piccolo was pretty much destined to happen ever since the beginning, due to their different upbringings and experiences on Earth. Both Goku and the nameless Namekian were not originally from Earth, but because of their amnesia, they had no recollection of their home planet and their origins, so they both saw Earth as their home. They both grew up in areas away from civilization with no way to contact other people, and it was from their exposure to the good and evil nature of humanity that changed these characters and their values. Goku was raised by the good side of humanity, but Piccolo was created from the evil side of humanity that had an effect on the heart within the nameless Namekian. If Goku was raised by a bad person after his accident, he could have grown up to become evil with a crude nature, just like King Piccolo. If the nameless Namekian was raised by good humans, then his pure heart wouldn't have become tainted. So both of their roles could have been reversed. And another interesting thing between them is how humanity affected their nature in contrast to their origins. Goku came from the Saiyan race, and the Saiyans are violent and very prideful. They were far from a peaceful race, and they enjoyed wiping innocent lives from their home planet because they thrive in battle. But in contrast, Goku became peaceful after being raised by Gohan. And the same change in contrast happens with Piccolo, but in the opposite direction. The Namekians are a peaceful race, who are very humble and very respectable people. But because the nameless Namekian was influenced by humanity, he gave birth to King Piccolo after separating the evil within his heart. And King Piccolo lived by terrorizing the people on Earth, which is in direct contrast to the peaceful Namekian race. King Piccolo seemed to be more similar to the Saiyans, and Goku seemed to be more similar to the Namekians. This is what makes Goku and Piccolo such a brilliant parallel for the narrative, because they are both similar but very different at the same time. This is what their fight at the tournament represented: the good of humanity versus the evil of humanity. And at the end, Goku was the one who remained victorious at the end, showing that good triumphed over evil. After their fight, Goku instead spares Piccolo's life, not just because Kami won't be at risk of dying, but because Goku can continue to improve himself, knowing that he has Piccolo Jr. as his rival. This is one of the things Goku learned from training in martial arts, which is continuous self-improvement. And this action of Goku saving Piccolo ended up leading to Piccolo meeting up with Goku's son, Gohan, and from their relationship, Piccolo changed into a better person, because he was influenced by Gohan's kind and human nature. And then Piccolo ended up becoming one of Goku's greatest allies even now to this day. And that is all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you want to see more anime content, please subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next video.